Welcome to Brienz. This adorable little village sits right at the end of Lake Brienz, and it's just a 20-minute train ride from Interlaken or an hour and a half from Lucerne.
It might just look like a quaint, quiet town at first, but we promise there's so much to explore. Of course, we're going to show you our favorite spots in town, but we're also going to take you along to see mountaintops, museums, waterfalls, and scenic boat rides. Speaking of scenery, let's start with
the best view in town. From the Brienzer Reformed Church, you can see the Berner Oberland Mountains in the distance, the milky teal waters of Lake Brienz, plenty of waterfalls, and of course, the charming village of Brienz. As always, we like to peek inside the churches to admire the architecture and the beauty. But this church in particular is basically surrounded on all sides by terraces and gardens that are definitely inviting you to wander. Believe it or not, there's another stunningly beautiful spot nearby, also known as
the most beautiful street in town. Architectural Digest has currently ranked Brienzersee as the second most beautiful street in the world, and we think you can tell why. It has classic Swiss chalets that combine dark-aged wood with white stone, colorful flower boxes and overflowing greenery, gently sloping cobblestone streets, and little hidden gems every step of the way. To be honest, we've been to more than 30 different European countries and almost every canton in Switzerland, and while this street is definitely oozing with charm, I don't know if I would say it's the most beautiful. So it's certainly worth seeing Brienzersee while you're here, but don't be disappointed. You'll definitely see other beautiful streets while you're on your Swiss vacation. And now that you've seen some views and explored the village, you might be working up an appetite. So why not grab some food at
Bino's Pizzeria. We can't tell you how we first heard about this place, but the 900 plus 4.7 star Google reviews speak for themselves. We've been here a few times now, and both the pizza and the playful staff don't disappoint. I ordered the Bino's pizza today, which says it's a surprise. Yours might be different than mine, but he literally loaded my pizza up with everything that was in the kitchen. Most pizzas are around 20 francs each, and a small glass of wine is about 5 francs. Regardless of what you order, it's important to note that they're open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, but the kitchen is closed between 3 and 5. The cozy inside fills up fast, but that's not a problem because you can always take your pizza to go and head to
the promenade for a lakeside picnic or stroll. This 1 kilometer walkway runs nearly the entire length of the village, and you can walk it in about 15 minutes. It's dotted with sculptures, shady trees, and benches, which obviously make a great spot to relax next to the water. And of course, there's a playground here too. Okay, so every time we're on Lake Brienz, we play this game where we try to name the color of the water. So far, we've come up with Milky Teal and Gatorade Blue Ice. But if you have a better name, drop it in the comments below and let us know. And of course, how could I forget that there's also a gelato food truck on the promenade. If you've seen any of our other videos, then you know how much I love a really good gelato, and the Brienz Gelati food truck does not disappoint with authentic Italian gelato. I ordered a small limone for 4 francs, but they also have other drinks and snacks that you can order too. There's a cozy seating area in the back, but you can also grab a blue chair and sit on the waterfront too. Okay, and now that you've seen plenty of different views of the lake, it's time to
go swimming in Lake Brienz. Strandbad Brienz is nestled at the very end of the lake, so when you're here, you can literally see all the way to Interlaken. The entry fee is 5 francs per adult and 3 francs for kids ages 6 to 15. There are 3 different pools, a water trampoline, a big grassy lawn, a playground, ping pong tables, hammocks, bathrooms, lockers, and a restaurant. You can even rent stand-up paddleboards or kayaks here as well. Technically, you can go swimming in a lot of places along Lake Brienz. We list another really great spot in our 1-week guide to the Jungfrau Region, but this place just makes it super convenient. If you're here in the summertime, you might be looking for a different way to cool off than swimming. And what better way to do that than with a refreshing cold beer from Jungfrau Brewery. They've coined their brews as the Bernese Oberland in a glass. They have more than 9 different types of beer, but they're a distillery too, producing 2 unique spirits and a couple liqueurs. And this is cool. Each of the spirits is made with glacier water from the foot of the Eiger North Face. And each of those bottles of spirits includes a small rock collected from the Eiger Trail, which, shameless plug, is a hike we included in our 16 Things to Do in Grindelwald video. Today, I ordered a tasting flight of 5 different beers, but this one I've had before and it's pretty special. It's actually a Schwarzbank beer, which is one of my favorite beers, and you can find it up at Pension Gimmelwald in Gimmelwald, which is also one of our favorite places. You can find their drinks right here in Brienz at the Curiosa shop or at their brewery, and in some of the regional restaurants and grocery stores too. All right, now it's time to venture just a bit outside of the village of Brienz, starting with
Wild Park Brienz. This is basically like a mini zoo. It first opened in 1896 so that the students at the wood carving school had live animals to practice on. That is, they carved the wood, not the animals, just to be clear. It is open daily and free of charge to visit, and it's just a 20-minute walk above town. Okay, I didn't know this till we got up here, but for 1 franc, you can buy a box of food and you can feed the animals. How cool is that? Clearly, kids and adults of all ages will enjoy looking at their small collection of animals. But if you're in the mood to hike, another off-the-beaten-path place where the locals go is
Oxalp. This is a beautiful terrace just above Brienz with amazing views, once again, of Lake Brienz. Today, we're walking along the 2-hour loop to Hinterbergsee, where we'll pass by 100 wood carvings and a little blue mountain lake. It's a bit too cold for our taste, but you can technically go swimming here, if cold water is your thing. There are also picnic places and grill spots here as well. And when you head back down the mountain, you'll go right past the bus stop for
Giessbach Falls. It's easy to reach by taking a boat from Brienz to Giessbach. Then you can either hike up about 20 minutes or ride the funicular. A round trip on the funicular costs 12 francs per adult or 10 francs with the Interlaken guest card or Berner Oberlin pass. And it's just 7 francs for kids between the ages of 6 and 15. This impressive waterfall is one of our favorites in the Jungfrau Region, which is why it is definitely featured in our 1-week guide to the Jungfrau Region. It plunges down 400 meters along 14 different steps all the way from the glaciers above into Lake Brienz below. You can admire it from a few different viewpoints like this bridge or by taking the short trail that dips behind the waterfall. And since you're already here, you might as well take a peek inside
Grand Hotel Giessbach. There are 2 different restaurants at the hotel, including some beautiful terraces. But you can also go inside just to admire the Belle Epoque design, artwork, and architecture. This hotel has actually been here in some fashion since 1857, and it's still a popular spot for tourists today. Staying at Giessbach is definitely a splurge, but it offers surprising value too, thanks to the complimentary Nostalgia Pass, which functions kind of like a guest card. It provides free Giessbach funicular rides and tons of other bonuses, which we're about to share with you. In fact, we list out the details on our blog about how you could save over 200 francs per adult with the Nostalgia Pass, depending on your travel plans, starting with free admission to
Ballenberg. This is the only open-air museum in Switzerland and also the largest at 163 acres. It contains more than 100 historic Swiss homes and barns that were disassembled, moved here, and reassembled, all to paint a realistic snapshot of what daily life was like in the Swiss countryside. They also use these buildings for live demonstrations of traditional bread baking, lace making, metal stamping, iron forging, shingle making, silk crafting, cheese making, and more. Not to mention that there are over 200 farm animals and a handful of restaurants at Ballenberg as well. We first came here back in 2012 on our honeymoon, and we still remember exploring the houses and seeing the animals and even watching some of the live demonstrations. This is a great spot for history buffs, families, or anyone just curious about rural life in Switzerland. Plus, it's perfect for a cloudy day like today. And when you visit, plan to spend about 2 to 4 hours here. It costs 32 francs per adult or 16 francs for kids ages 6 to 15. You get a discount with the Berner Oberlin Pass and various guest cards as well. But it's completely free with the Swiss Travel Pass, and there's even great packages available for families too. And when you're here at Ballenberg, you are literally steps away from The Traufer Wooden Cow Museum. If you've been inside any tourist shop in the country of Switzerland, then you've probably seen these carved wooden cows. They're carved, painted, and produced right here at Traufer. For 15 francs per adult and 9 francs for kids ages 6 to 15, you can go on the Kuhniverse tour, which is German for Cow Universe. And for an additional fee, you can even try your hand at carving or painting your own Swiss cow. By the way, if you're planning to...
That was awesome.
By the way, if you're planning to visit both Ballenberg and Traufer, check out the combo ticket, which can definitely save you some money. And Brienz is such an appropriate place to make these little wooden cows because it's quite possibly most famously known for
wood carving, which you can experience for yourself at the Swiss Wood Carving Museum. We also came here for the first time on our honeymoon, and I remember being blown away by how realistic all of these things look. Oh, and we also bought a hand-carved cuckoo clock. Check the opening dates before you come, and if you're interested in the tour, then it's best to book in advance. A visit costs 8 francs per adult, but it's free with the Swiss Travel Pass and Giessbach Nostalgia Pass, and 50% off with the Tel Pass or local guest cards. And if the smell of all this wood is starting to get to you, then grab a little fresh air by
riding a boat on Lake Brienz. There is nothing like a relaxing cruise along the turquoise waters surrounded by wooden villages, green hills, and snow-capped peaks. There are 4 different boats that run on Lake Brienz, one of which is the Lochberg steamboat, and since it was built in 1914, passengers have been able to watch the steam engine churn. These boats are equipped with a little restaurant so you can enjoy a coffee, snack, or full meal during your ride. And there's even a supervised children's play area below deck for kids who are at least 4 years old. You don't have to pay for the childcare services, but kids ages 6 and older do require a valid ticket. A one-way adult ticket from Interlaken to Giessbach Falls is 28 francs full price, or 14 francs with the half fare card, or it's completely free with the Swiss Travel Pass, the Berner Oberlin Pass, and the Giessbach Nostalgia Pass. But if you'd rather see the water from above,
right up to the Brienzer Rothorn. Hop on board a historic steam cog train from the 1800s and cruise 7.6 kilometers up the mountain in just 1 hour, gaining more than 1,600 meters of elevation and crossing through 6 tunnels. Along the way, you can enjoy non-stop views of Lake Brienz, the surrounding green hills, and of course, even more of the Swiss Alps. Once you reach the top, the views don't stop. Wander the nearby trails or pop into one of the 2 restaurants before you take another relaxing train ride back down. The Brienzer Rothorn Bahn is open from June to October. A round-trip adult ticket costs 96 francs full price or 48 francs with the half fare card. But the ride is free with the Berner Oberlin Pass or Tel Pass, and it's also free starting from 10:45 in the morning if you have the Giessbach Nostalgia Pass. We actually rode up here a few years ago on Jana's birthday because you get a free ticket and a little gift if you ride on your actual birthday. How cool is that? And for something else that's really fun,
there are still more things to do in the Berner Oberlin. If you're looking for another lakeside town, check out Thun. And if you just want the highlights of the region, check out our favorite spots in the Jungfrau Region, and we'll see you in Switzerland.